What are some of the things that are important to have then on the site that you feel Google will actually spend some of their crawl budget on?
Yeah, when you look at the first one, like trust, which is likely, as Google stated, is the most important. The very first thing that I think they're looking at is who is responsible for this content. If somebody follows this advice and they get harmed, who can they contact? Or if they follow this advice and they have issues, who can they contact? Now, who is ultimately responsible for this? And it should be a real business. That there is a company behind this website. I've had some people argue with me about it, like, well, I'm not a company. It's like, well, are you making money with this website? Then you should be.
We talked about this last
and
time,
that's kind of like,
I remember. You said the exact same thing last time. I remember this. Yeah.
Oh,
but it's important. Yeah.
It's still very, very important. So is there a real company behind this? Do you have a local address, on the site that's your business address? Do you have a local phone number? Do you have multiple email addresses on the site? So not just like a blank contact form that everyone knows goes nowhere, but actually different multiple ways to contact different offices or different departments within your company. Do you have an about the company page that talks about the company and has organization schema on it? Do you have an about the team page, which then has the people behind the company on it? And again, it's not just having one of those things, or it's the idea of ticking enough of these boxes to show that you are a real company and that there is an entity that is responsible for the words that are on this website.
And you have authors that have their own author page, like you're saying, and they're linked to the team page. And on the team page, you got the different person for the different departments with their own different email address. And the company can be one address with one phone number, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And again, a lot of people talk about, I don't want to put an address down. I work from home or something like that. Well, real companies have figured out how to do that, and they've figured out how to do it for quite some time. I would take the moment to figure it out. It's not overly tricky. Kind of saying within that trust vein, when you look at it, is there a real company there? Then you want to say, like, is this a real website? And a real website will have things like a current copyright, a privacy policy, terms and conditions, refunds, complaints, cookie notices, GDPR, ADA compliance if you're in areas where you need that, mobile friendly, limited 404s, no 500s, errors, SSL, that kind of stuff. So all like that basic stuff that you probably should have anyway, those would all be indicators on the trust side that this is also a real website. So you kind of have real business, real website. And those would be the things that I would hone in on that a bot can easily look for to determine if they're actually there, if those signals exist on your site.
How do you feel like, so say a site has all that, somebody's just gone to the effort and they've made sure they've got their team page with their team on it, and then each author, the address, the phone number, also the terms and condition pages and whatnot. How do you feel Google is measuring experience, like the experience of these authors in their particular niche? I don't
think they are.
Okay.
I don't think they are. And so it kind of maybe a better way to look at it would be maybe in the expertise part of that. Is this person an expert, within the field? And a lot of people get confused here and they think like I need a PhD or I need a medical doctor to write my content. And I think it's important to understand that Google's not in the value judgment game. They're not going to sit down and be like, well, what's better here? A degree from Stanford or a degree from MIT? Who knows? Nor does Google care. Or they're not going to be like, well, this person has 10 years of experience and a degree from a small liberal arts college. This person has 4. I mean, that's not anything that I think they're going to do. And as we were talking about earlier, how far outside of your site is Google going to want to go to really look at that and spend time on that? And I don't think they're going to want to do anything. But what you need to establish is that it's a real person. That's the signal that you want to put out. So on those author pages, you want person schema. And within that person schema, you can do the same as. And the same as can link out to a Wikipedia page if that person is that famous, or a LinkedIn URL, or maybe within the industry if there are pages where they would be listed, they're at this university or they're within this organization. You can list all those same as, and you're really just doing enough to show that this is an actual person. And I think that's the most important signal, is that not that this person is an established expert, because I don't think you can really do that within what Google will want to do, but you can show that this is an actual human. And that's the most important thing, is establishing that it is actually someone.
And so what about these sites, and I've seen so many of them, where people have authors on the page? A lot of the content is clearly written by non-first English speaking writers, and then they have a LinkedIn profile that they're linking to, and the LinkedIn profile doesn't, like, they've got like 2 connections on LinkedIn and nothing else on their profile. How important is that? Do you feel that Google just wants to see at least a handful of external links or one external link to something that looks relatively close to the person? Or
yeah, it's one of those things where you want to, I would say that's the up to you on how much you want to do to establish that somebody is real. I don't think Google's going to punish somebody for being a non-native English speaker. There are a lot of non-English native English speakers that are experts in certain things, and their written English is not going to be as good as perhaps someone else's is. But that doesn't make them less of an expert. Like they could be more of an expert. They just don't write English very well. And so I don't think Google's going to punish somebody for that. I really do think it is just establishing as well as you can that this is a human being. And then that's what you want to do. So the more you can do, the better. There, I don't know that it's a minimum. Like you have. Well, you probably at least have to have one URL, but I don't know that there's necessarily that number. Like, and the tipping point is 3. But it's just like as much as you can do to show that this is a human is the idea.
So person schema, organize it like company schema. Would you feel that having a Wikipedia page for the person, because it's Google can crawl that, it's going to be better than a LinkedIn?
Absolutely. If you can't get Wikipedia because maybe they're not famous enough, you can do Wikidata, which is also something that Google will crawl. And often within Wikidata, you can identify that someone is a person. And then a very important point here then would be once you've got that established, that's on their author bio page, right? When they actually write something for you and they write that article, within that, then you got author schema, and the author schema references that author bio page that you put together. You know what I mean? So you're actually then referencing that work that you did to establish that they're human. Like, so this article was written by this person. Check out this link to go over here and see that they're an actual person.
And that's on their author page and in their schema with both links. And would that be the same for links where, say, the person is featured in like some sort of PR, public relations way on another site as well, because Google will have budget to crawl that versus getting off and into LinkedIn?
So again, I'm not sure how much Google's really going to go and crawl and look. I think it's more of the existence of the link, to be honest. And there might be a few that Google would. And I think Wikipedia might be one. I think Wikidata might be one. But I really don't know, and I don't think you can count on that, that Google's going to like go and investigate your people. And I don't think that's what it is at all. But it's just the signals that you're putting out there saying like this person's done these things, they've got all these things, you can go check it out. I think that's the key.
Yeah. What I like about it is that Google's making sites and site owners take some level of responsibility for what they're putting out there, which is going to help when people have even just a sense of responsibility, they're going to do better work, which I believe is going to allow us to have better sites and the internet to be better. So a lot of people may be wanting to hide behind the screen and all of that sort of stuff and be anonymous, but it's going to make the landscape for us as a whole better too.
Well, no, and that's exactly right. And that's to Google's point. That's why Google fights spam. They ask, is this adding anything to the conversation? Like, is this actually benefiting anyone in any way? Is this good in the sense of that it is still like that it's information out there that can benefit. But on top of that, is somebody responsible? Is somebody actually behind this stuff? I think it's all part of the mission. It just makes sense, of why they would want to put a website. Why would they want this article to be ranking for a particular term in the first place if you can't establish who wrote it and if nobody's going to actually end up taking responsibility for it?